While there is no official admission of using this technology, mainstream media has reported that Haarp was used to find terrorists in Afghanistan. It's hard to imagine the U.S. passing up such an opportunity.
What does Haarp do? Haarp is a large antenna where we beam radio frequency energy up into the upper atmosphere, and we create on a small scale what the sun normally does. And the reason we're trying to do this is because when you have disturbances in the ionosphere, we can't communicate with our satellites.
Basically then, Haarp is just a great big radio antenna with enough power to heat up the ionosphere and maintain radio communication with satellites, or find holes in the Earth. That sounds harmless enough, but critics suggest there are other, more sinister applications.
Applications discussed in the patents included destroying missiles. Communications control and disruption were included. There were some other ideas both to possibly modify weather and finally to lift a portion of the upper atmosphere further out into space where hopefully it would be able to deflect missile trajectories.
Dr. Eastland, we should point out, is no longer with the program, but his patent did in fact anticipate a Star Wars kind of defense mechanism which also had the capability of actually changing the weather, disrupting communications, and literally moving the upper atmosphere closer to the sun. But if the technology can do all of that, is it also likely to affect people, animals, even the Earth itself? Carl Sagan once wrote, "We've arranged a global civilization upon which most crucial elements profoundly depend on science and technology. We've also arranged things so that almost no one understands science or technology. Sooner or later, this combustible mixture of ignorance and power will blow up in our faces." Have we finally reached that point? Can anyone predict what altering or moving the upper atmosphere will do?
The first serious study of this type of technology possibly dates back to Nikola Tesla. His genius gave us many inventions, most importantly, alternating current, or AC, which is the foundation of our electrical civilization today. As far back as 1934, the New York Times read an article on what they described as Tesla's death ray. Tesla had been working on these kinds of inventions most of his life. In March of 1920, a publication called Electrical Experimenter published illustrations of Tesla's prototype wireless power transmitter, which even then was being described as a death ray searchlight device. Dr. Eastland even referenced Tesla in his initial patent, and in a BBC A&E documentary said, "I think Tesla would be very proud." In my view, Haarp, based in part on Tesla technology, has the potential to be the ultimate doomsday device.
On the other hand, those who are directly involved with the project seem to think there's nothing at all to worry about.
Haarp has no effect on the Earth.
Is Haarp safe? Yes, Haarp is safe.
Therein lies the controversy. Is it a doomsday device, or basically just an expensive toy? This argument has been going on for years. The mystery, however, remains unexplained. Is it possible that this innocent-looking array of antennas can generate enough power to disrupt the Earth's natural processes? Just exactly what are we playing with here?
The ionosphere of the Earth has got enormous amount of energy. There are 8,000 thunderstorms going on all over the Earth at any given moment. There are millions of amperes of electricity pouring to the Earth from lightning strikes. And Haarp could create a trigger effect. It's the same as a bullet, for example. If you have the primer on the back of a bullet, and that primer releases a tiny amount of energy, but it triggers the larger power in the bullet itself. And Haarp is playing with the energy system of the Earth.
In many ways, Haarp is one of the most perplexing and contradictory mysteries we have yet had to face. College and university science departments are working with the project in an effort, apparently, to discover exactly what it might do to the Earth. Yet Haarp officials tell us it has no effect on the Earth. How do they know? Dr. Eastland's patent date is 1987, yet the technology goes back at least to Nikola Tesla's experiments in 1920. Was Tesla building a death ray? And is it all just a coincidence that with the ionosphere and the ozone layer so interrelated, that the hole in the ozone layer appears to be expanding in the very region of the Earth's atmosphere irradiated by Haarp? We often hear that the Earth's ecosystem is fragile, that a hole in the ozone layer could alter the ecological balance of the Earth and cause irreparable harm. What precisely does irradiating the ionosphere do to this delicate balance?
What I'm holding in my hands is an electrodeless lamp. In it I have a low atmosphere gas, somewhat similar to the atmosphere above the Earth. I'm going to turn it on in my microwave oven and demonstrate that the around 1 watt per square centimeter that this microwave oven makes will turn it on and generate a plasma. And you see all of the motion of the plasma. That's typical of what will happen at high altitude, where the ionosphere gets irradiated with these big beams.
More to the ozone hole than just automobile exhaust.
There are several high-powered radio antennas around the world, but in relation to Haarp, they're like a child's cap gun compared to a 50-millimeter cannon. The Haarp antenna farm currently consists of 48 towers, each about 25 meters tall, topped with crossbeams facing an east-west, north-south direction. The antenna array will eventually grow to 180 of these towers, all interconnected. That means Haarp will have an effective radiated power of 3.6 billion watts, or 72,000 times more powerful than America's largest commercial radio station, and nearly 100 times the power of its Russian counterpart, known internationally as the woodpecker.